At Dave Cooper Live, we connect the industry leaders in the architectural, engineering, and construction space with the people, the products, and the processes to help them build it better. All right. What if I told you there's someone who's inspected nearly every modular factory on the planet and still decided to build something better? Today on Dave Cooper Live, we welcome Robin Bartram Brown, CEO of MMY Group, a man whose construction resume includes oil and gas, heavy civils, billion-dollar mega projects, and now revolutionizing the way we design, manufacture, and install buildings. Robin's just not building for speed. He's building for resilience, precision, and the planet. From the UK modular boom to MMY's US global launch, we're talking cold form steel systems, helical pier foundations, and their game-changing ceiling cassettes with pre-installed MEPs, all done on the ground. Yeah, you heard me right. No more HVAC yoga poses in the ceiling. This is not your typical prefab pitch. This is industrialized construction done right and done fast. And let's be honest, when your DfMA packs are so clean and readable that even your teenager might want to build something, you know you're onto something great. So if you care about DfMA, smarter factories, or housing that's actually affordable, code compliant, sit down, grab your coffee, and buckle up. It's time to go global with Robin Bartram Brown. But first, we need to give a big shout out to our good friends at Cobalt Creed. They service builders, developers, prefab home builders, and manufacturers, allowing them to achieve the highest levels of comfort, indoor air quality, and low energy costs with their HVAC systems installed for their projects and their customers. Their approach is simple. By using their proprietary small duct, high velocity central heating and cooling systems. Learn more at cobaltcreed.com. All right, a few more words from these sponsors, and we're going to get right into it with Robin. Stay tuned. Brought to you by Greatech, developers of the complete light gauge steel and wood framing software for Revit StruxSoft. Off-site, modular, or prefabricated, StruxSoft Framer turns Revit into a powerful manufacturing tool, automating every step of the DfMA process from design to final delivery. StruxSoft doesn't just work with Revit, it transforms it. Jumpstart your designs at StruxSoftSolutions.com. Halleck Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their machine buyer's guide for off-site modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, halleckltd.com. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on Dave Cooper Live. Man, do we have an episode for you today. We have somebody on the show that has been around the world and has been in more factories than I've been in Starbucks. It's a lot. So we're going to bring him on the show. Hey, and also thank all these supporting members below as well. We can't bring you any or all of this without them. And we'd love to see your name down there. If you like what we do, bringing you all this informative information to help you build it better, why don't you support us and reach out to us, and let's see how we can promote your company with us to help us keep building it better, keeping us live and unedited. All right. So without further ado, let's bring on Robin. Robin, how are you today, my friend?
I'm very well, Dave. Thanks for having me on.
So you got an awesome UK accent, but yet here you are in the United States in good old Louisville. Tell us a little bit about when did you get to Louisville?
I started coming to Louisville 15 years ago. I've got some friends here, family network, and then that led to the business. We wanted to start the business somewhere in the Midwest. Louisville seemed like the obvious choice, and we ended up here. We landed here about 2.5 years ago.
Well, we're going to get into all of that, but Robin, first, we got to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Don't leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we're going to have a family member on. And I know the UK humor is dry, but it's very spirited, and I'm sure they'll throw you under the bus more than once. But you only have a minute and a half to do it. The floor is yours.
Okay. So I'm an engineer and started out as many engineers did on high-rise sites in London, building concrete cores. We'd build a project every year. We'd make the same mistakes. We'd sit in the pub at the end of the year. We'd do a lessons learned, and we'd do exactly the same thing the next year. And we'd do exactly the same things the next year. We'd make the same mistakes, and it would just keep repeating. I left the construction industry to move into oil and gas. And suddenly, the 10 years that I spent in working on big offshore deep water projects, we didn't make any mistakes. Everything got installed on time. Everything was designed and engineered correctly because everything was pre-manufactured onshore in a factory, fit tested, put on the vessels because the vessels were so expensive that you couldn't make mistakes. And then when you actually deployed this stuff subsea, it all fitted. And I think that was the magic moment for me. Came back from working in oil and gas, did some projects with some kitchen pods and bathroom pods, which at the time was very advanced in the UK. Started to work with light gauge steel, which again was cold form steel, you call it in the US, which again was very advanced. And that led to us starting a consultancy business with a business partner working in modern methods of construction. That ignited the fire for offsite. And that consultancy has ended up with us being in Louisville with a factory, which was never the plan.
I know. That's life's journey, isn't it? Right? You just got to kind of follow your nose. I mean, listen, I have a live show that we do around the world, which was a hobby. And I always say it's a hobby that went terribly wrong, right?
Same.
It just, you got to go where it goes. So I love it. So Robin, tell us a little bit about the factory that you guys currently have. What is the operation? How big is it? How many employees? And what exactly are you producing out of that manufacturing facility?
So like the high level, the quick summary was we didn't want to set up a factory, right? We wanted to do the design, the engineering, bring in the clients, have the mods made, by other factories, and then set them on site and be the GC. But honestly, we could not, and there's nothing wrong with the factories in America, but we just couldn't find a factory that would do what we wanted to do, how we wanted it built, how we design in the UK and in Europe. And we wanted it in cold form steel. That was super important. We wanted to work with a factory that had a rolling line in cold form steel, and that we wanted to pick the finishes that we wanted because it's important that even though we're building affordable housing, it's high quality for the people that live in it. They deserve to have something that's high quality. We couldn't find it, so that's it. We had to start up a factory.
Are you doing single family home, multifamily home, light commercial?
Single family up to about 70 units. Multifamily is our sweet spot. You can build to 8 stories in light gauge steel. You don't build to 8 stories in light gauge steel. You build to about 4 stories, and you can pop that on a podium. The factory's in Louisville in Kentucky, so we're really well situated in the Midwest. Lots of people don't know about Louisville. They call it Kentucky, the flyover state, right? You can get to 80% of the population within 12 hours from Louisville. There's a reason UPS have 400 airplanes here coming to Louisville Airport. They're much smarter than we are, right? And that's because it's so accessible to the rest of the states.
Yeah, and the military's there too.
A big military. We see.
I was at Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Okay.
I went there for boot camp. So yeah,
there you go.
Logistics is all about the service, man. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we wanted to be starting up with the factory, going back to the factory. So the factory, we have a 5-acre site. We're on the rail. There's a reason we're on the rail. That's for future expansion. And we're in an underserved, challenged community. Make no bones about it. Where we are is, it's an area that's been underserved for many years, and it's rough. And one of the reasons we wanted to set up there was because we want to try and make some impact as well into the community that we work in. So we employ 70 people now. We pay a minimum wage of, I think it's $24-25 on the floor. We try and employ from the 3 local zip codes. It's not easy. There's lots of challenges in the community, but we're proud of what we're doing. 65% of all of our employees live within 3 miles of the community. That means that we're generating tax for the area that we're in. And yeah, it's a good thing. We spend 80% of all the dollars that we bring in within a 5-mile radius within our supply chain. So it's a great tool for cities. And we work very closely with Louisville City and Kentucky, the state, for economic development to help bring these underserved communities up. And that was part of always the plan with Louisville City.
Yeah, no, listen, I love it. And if you're a government official out there, a city planner out there, take these words and listen to them, because you're absolutely right. Factories become their own little ecosystem when it comes to, the community, the environment, putting people in housing, taking people off of the streets. And we need more of that. So 100%. Love it. So listen, Robin, I mean, you literally have been in, hundreds, if not thousands of factories around the world. What is it, you talk about mistakes that are being made, and you guys want to be, to be different and do it differently based on the knowledge that you've gained from oil and gas and everything else. What have you seen as the most common mistake people are making around the world when it comes to modern methods of construction, as you like to say it in the UK?
For factories, for modular, volumetric, offsite, let's call it prefab. Let's call it what it is, right? Yeah. I think there are many reasons why factories fail. Tons and tons and tons, right? Zoning, planning, code, permits, all of the stuff we hear about all of the time. But really, I think one of the main reasons is people borrow too much money too early on in the cycle. And if you borrow tons and tons of money to set up big fancy factories with lots of automation, unless you've got incredibly deep pockets, and I'm talking Greystar, right? You're really one of the biggest developers and you're fully vertically integrated, you need to watch the dollars. Or in the UK, we say, penny wise, pound foolish. You need to be really, really careful with how much money you actually go out and raise. We've not raised anything. This is all our own investment. And that also means that the people with the experience, we're guiding the business, not the people that sit on, not the investors that sit on our board. So we're able to make informed decisions from where we see where people have made mistakes in other factories, and hopefully we don't get caught out the same way. What else are we doing differently? We only build affordable housing. That was a specific market that we wanted to enter 3 years ago. We're also the GC, we're the architect, and we're the engineer. So when you get these clients that are just coming onto their modular journey, because it's new for them, right? And they've got a GC and they've got a manufacturer and they've got this interface and an architect, and the architect doesn't want to do what the engineer is saying, and the engineer wants to use an R factor of a gazillion, because, who would use an R factor of 4, right, when you're a structural engineer? Yeah. When you add all of that together, the client gets, let's be honest, a pretty crappy experience. And generally it runs late and over budget. We wanted to take all of that and give them one contract. You sign a design and build AIA contract with us. We deliver it with the keys in the door, and it's going to cost you X. But you can have this finish, or this finish. And you can have this design, or this design. And if the developer, we had one in with us, an affordable housing developer a couple of weeks ago, says to us, I really like the cabinets, but I want a different color. We literally said to this guy, no, sorry, it's that color, or that color. The Ford principle, it's black, or black, right? And that standardizes the product, which means we can buy it well, which means we don't have to go out and procure loads of different things, which means we can run lean. And if we're running lean, we can bring the dollar value down, and then we can just about compete with stick built, or as we say in the US, ship built.
Yeah, ship built. Is that what you say?
That's what we say. Yeah.
I love it. So there's a couple things that I want to unpack, right? So one, you've productized your product, right? You've simplified it. You said these are the choices you get, and it doesn't work on our production line if you don't stick within our choices. So I absolutely love that, and we'll get into how successful that's been for you. But two, you also said we do everything from the design, the manufacturing, the development, to handing the keys. So you're vertically integrated all the way through.
So we are the only part that we don't take is the developer, because generally in the world that we live in, when there's Fed funding coming down, we can't take that funding. It has to go through a non-profit. So the non-profits are generally our clients. They're developers. There's lots of them in the US that are specialist affordable housing developers. They work on LIHTC. They work with different types of HUD funding, home funds, CDBG, disaster relief funding. And then our contract is with them. We do our compliance piece because Davis-Bacon's involved, certified payroll, all of the normal stuff. We have a department that runs that. The non-profits then go and draw the money down from state or from the government, and then we get paid and we deliver the product. So we are looking at doing some market rate development stuff ourselves, but really at the moment we're laser focused on the affordable housing problem, which is 7.2 million homes, and reality probably 8 in the US.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that might even be low.
Yeah, they think so now. I mean, it was 7.2 last year. I haven't updated the deck, and I think it's probably 8.5 now. Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about the speed to market that you guys are, achieving right now, right? We're looking at, a typical construction build in our world is, 6 months to 2-3 years, depending on the size of the project. You guys are actually able to put things out the door and in the ground within 16 weeks. So you're saying, is that accurate?
It is accurate, but it needs to be explained. So first time you go for a model approval in industrialized construction, it takes time. There's no way around it. It can take 4 to 6 months to get a single family home. Let's just use a single family home. Easy, right? 2-box, single family home, residential code, modular. It could take 4 months to get a permit. But once you've got that, in Kentucky, they're called KIBS permits. In Indiana, they're called a different type of permit. But once you've got that industrialized model permit, then you can rinse and repeat. Because all you have to take then, in most states, let's put California to one side and Florida, is a site placement permit. And we can get those in 2 to 4 weeks. If you can get those in 2 to 4 weeks, and then you use a fast foundation system, we use precast concrete foundations. So they're being manufactured off-site again in a temperature-controlled, climate-resistant factory. If we get all those pieces together, it takes us 6 days to get them through the factory, then we can place homes in 6 weeks. It's the same with multifamily, but multifamily permits take much longer, and there's obviously lots more site works to do. So if you want to get if you want to put the slide up on the screen that we loaded earlier, Dave, you'll see Sellersburg. We've just built this. So this was 80. It was actually 86 3/4 mods, but semantics. That's been fully manufactured. It's sitting in our yard, and it's waiting on foundations. And the reason it's waiting on foundations is we took this job very late in the client's design stage, and we had to go with the foundation system that they'd chosen. It's a great example. The last 4 months in Kentucky has been the wettest, coldest winter on record, right? We had the site works done 6 months ago. with all the drainage, the detention basins, the sewer, the water, everything in place. And we've been waiting for 4 months to put concrete foundations in. If this had been a precast foundation project, that project would be out of my yard and set by now. Whereas we're still waiting for, we're still waiting for the foundations to be completed in the next couple of weeks. To go back to your question, single family home, 6 weeks.
Now, for your foundation wall, are you using Superior walls? Is that what you guys use?
We're using a company called Ideal, but we've also spoken to Superior as well.
Yeah. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. And because I'm a huge fan, I think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
They're amazing.
They are so fast. Let me just pull what we have off here first, and I'm going to add that in. They really are amazing. They're 5,000 PSI. I'm sure yours are roughly the same. They don't leak, and they sit on a bed of stone, which is they have a complete footer so the water can constantly move under it and not get jammed up in the footer itself. And the drainage always moves the water. They consider them to be the driest foundation system on the market because of how they are built, how they're installed. They're pre-insulated, pre-studded, pre-drilled for holes for wiring and plumbing. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Robin. Superior Walls is not a supporter of us, but man, if they were, I'd be happy because I used a lot of them in my building career. So I appreciate that.
So Superior actually pricing a job for us now. It's a 60 unit. You'll see it on one of the slides. It's a 60 unit multifamily traditional 4-story unit. This is a traditional foundation, and that's been built. That was our first project out of the door. 87 boxes. Was it a challenge? Whew. Standing up a factory, I wouldn't do it again. Huh?
Well, listen,
I mean, my hair used to be so long.
That's right. I remember just like 2 years ago. It was like you were like doing Head and Shoulders commercials with Troy Polamalu or what have you. So, so you said, do you want to show the next slide here, or there you go?
So this is a single family home. We just shipped this into the yard yesterday. Foundations started yesterday. We were taking trees down on the site. And we'll be excavating next week. Walls will go in, Ideal precast walls, same as Superior, 3-foot crawl will go in the week after. And then once I come back after the July the 4th weekend, because I cannot stay in America for July the 4th, right? I have to go back to England, obviously. Then once I come back, we'll set that home. Again, it's taken longer than we wanted because it took 4 or 5 months for us to get the permit for this. Because it's the first time Kentucky have done it, right? This is the first. This is super cool. I'm so proud of this. This is the first steel LEED Platinum home, as far as I know, in our industry. LEED Platinum. This is net zero.
And you got it certified at LEED Platinum.
It's currently being inspected. They were there this morning. They were there last week, and that's going to go through as LEED Platinum. Yeah, we've got the points, and it's being inspected at the moment.
Robin. So we have something in common. Jennifer and I, when we were modular builders in New Jersey, we did the first LEED certified modular home in New Jersey. Wow. And I remember the book that we had to produce was like that thick of details, everything to the carpets being used in the house.
Yeah.
Is it still the same process?
It's worse.
It's
like, so it's crazy, right? LEED. I love LEED and I love LEED Platinum, and it's a really good thing to do, but they don't make it easy. So here's an example, right? We have to get an inspector that comes down to inspect every box to make sure the installation's done properly. I get it, right? But this is an environmental certification, and we've got a guy in a 5-liter pickup driving 4 hours there and back every day to see a box.
Yeah.
Do it on the camera system in the factory, but LEED don't allow it.
No, they do not. They do not. And it's not an inexpensive thing to go through. But I think for what you guys are doing and on the house, to get that certification that sets the standard for what your product is moving forward is a game changer for you, whether you get the certification moving forward or not. As long as you build them the same way over and over again, because you have a productized approach, you can meet it without even getting somebody to sign off on it.
And this is a modular demonstration project for Louisville, for Louisville Metro government. So we're building a single family home. We're building a couple of townhomes for them. We're doing another single family home design, which you'll see in a minute. We're doing a 9-plex multifamily unit, which you can see here. This is also funded by the city. And then they can choose as a city what's working in the locations for them. And then they can just order off what they need from us and we can deploy it rapidly on site. So all of these projects, this is in build as well. This is currently first floor. This is in station 1 to 9 at the moment in the factory. It's so cool, man. I love it every day going in there. But that's in production. All of these projects have taken way too long to get permits. But the next time we can put this anywhere in Kentucky with a site placement permit.
Right.
I mean, that is the beauty of modular. That's the win.
Yeah, it definitely is a win. And we had a little bit of a brief conversation about codes and stuff like that prior, but we're not getting into that on this show because
I get it.
We'll be here for hours. But you know what? The permitting process is a problem for our industry, right? It slows us down. And I have a big problem personally with uncertified architects and engineers reviewing plans and delaying plans when you're having them certified, engineered, and inspected, at the factory. They should just be outside of just zoning. The approval process should be much easier.
Listen, don't even get me started on inspections. Inspections are crazy. The amount of inspectors we have coming in the factory, but you know what? That is the way it is, and that's what we have to deal with. So there's no point about moaning about it. You just get on with it and you manage the risk and you say to your clients, okay, we got caught out on the first project. We understand now. The first model that you want to prove is going to take 6 months. And from then it's going to be 16 weeks. And once you've actually got the model approved, it's much more simple moving forward. This is the project that's coming into the factory floor at the end of August. And this is a big traditional designed 4-story, room corridor room, or you call it double loaded corridor in America. Again, we're separated by a common language, as they say. And that is a big, 70,000 square foot, 60 unit multifamily unit, which is going into downtown Louisville.
That's beautiful. That's great.
You could take them off now if you want.
Yeah. So with that said, since Louisville loves you so much, you should get them to commit to like a 5-day approval turnaround. Which I think so. And I know you have another slide deck here. Let me know when you want to add that up there.
Yeah, let me just get the right slide.
But
yeah, this is an interesting one to talk through.
Yeah. Skyview.
Yeah, Hazard, Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky got hit really bad with floods a couple of times. People lost their lives. They got absolutely smashed to pieces. It's an old coal mining town, way out in the bottom of the Appalachian Mountains. Beautiful, but it's been slammed because of its location. And Kentucky State, the governor, have been super supportive. They're building a couple of high ground, new subdivisions, which are climate resistant. So they're old coal mines that have been benched out. They're beautiful. And they can't get GCs up there. They can't build houses because it's in the middle of nowhere. So we bid for 48. We got 8 to start as a tester because modular's new to them. It's Eastern Kentucky. Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff's new up there, right? It really is a long way out. And we're building these steel, climate resistant LEED Platinum homes. Mm-hmm. Very standardized, 3-bed, 4-bed. And they're pretty. They could only be single story because they're on shale, and then they wanted 2-box homes, but they couldn't look like trailers. It's very different. It's very difficult to design a 2-box house that doesn't look like a double wide, right? A manufactured home. But I think our team have done a lovely job. And these are going into production in about 3 weeks' time into the line.
Yeah, for sure.
Lovely.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that's what you would see in the Midwest. You see that here. I'm in the Midwest. They call Pittsburgh Midwest for whatever reason. We're right on the border. But I mean, listen, this is exactly what the architecture is in your area.
Something that I'm really proud of is in every module that we build, we have a European toilet. And everybody said, never going to work in America. All of our clients make a point of saying, we don't want the American toilets, we want the European ones.
Hey, listen, for anybody that has to clean a bathroom, you don't have to get on your hands and knees and put your face in a toilet to reach around to clean it. It makes it so much easier. You can wipe right under that thing. I'm with you, but I'm in Europe a lot, so there's a lot of things I believe in that the typical American does not Now, if you put the self-cleaning part in there and the bottom washer, I'd really be impressed.
Yeah, that would be cool, right?
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be cool. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's get into some of the things you're working in. If you're done with that, if I may. One of the things you're doing now that's different than most other manufacturers out there is you are doing full MEP electrical cassettes that are built on the ground and then slid in, right? Or set on, slid in. And it's a complete unit that finishes the house and the wall or in the ceiling, correct?
Yeah, so exactly what we're doing. So our system is a floor cassette, a ceiling cassette, and we use what's called a balloon mod, which is more used in Europe. The reason we use a balloon mod, that means the walls come down to the bottom of the floor cassette, is it allows us to distribute the loads down when we're going vertical, right? So we can use shear walls.
Yep.
Engineering, boring stuff, but it means we can use less steel and we have a more efficient design. One of the challenges, obviously, in the line is to keep the line moving. Everything that you can do offline saves time on the line. It's one of the golden principles of the boys that can really do this. And I'm talking Champion, Clayton. These guys, we say, oh, manufactured homes, modular homes. Yeah, we're different. Yeah, we work to different codes. But let me tell you, we could all take a bit more from the manufactured housing industry about how they actually push boxes down the line. These boys really know what they're doing. And the saying, and I've got lots of ex-Champion guys working in my plant, right, and girls, is offline is faster online. So the idea with the ceiling cassette, because predominantly all of the HVAC, the mechanical, and the drainage for the unit above goes into the ceiling, is that we want to build the ceiling cassette offline and then bring it in and put it on the box. And we want to take out the third ceiling. So normally in a commercial building, you have 2 layers of sheetrock, or plasterboard as we call it in the UK. Then you sling all your mechanical and your HVAC underneath it, and then you either have a third ceiling or a bulkhead. Bulkheads look nasty, horrible, don't like them. Third ceilings, lots of sheetrock, expense, time, and the dreaded finishing. So with this, we're able to get everything in, get it sheetrocked, get it on top of the box. Eventually, for the next phase of the factory, we're extending the line and we're building a full ceiling and floor station at the other end of the line where we use the crane to bring them back to the beginning. So that's completely offline and we have our own workstation. But right now, station 1, we build a floor cassette, then we build a ceiling, then we build a floor, then we build a ceiling while we extend our runway crane. But the plan is to do it completely offline.
It's 100%. The way to do it, right? If you look at, we use Ford, black or black moving forward, production lines really should be assembly lines. The kit of parts being built offline and then assembled. We found, in all the factories that we've traveled that are really producing at a high level, that's what they're doing. Yeah. Similar to what you're doing there with your MEPs. It definitely makes sense. Build it on the floor. And when the product's coming down the line, pick it up, install it, keep the line moving. Because when you stop the line, you stop production, you stop your efficiency.
100%. And, we talk about automation. Automation is the magic bullet. Automation's amazing, right? But all true, pure play automation is super expensive.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're building the debt up. And, I think you need to run a line for a couple of years and see where the points are that you can automate simply before you just go and buy an automated framing table. So, for example, I say that we do basic automation. And when we're talking about basic automation, we're talking about a screw gun that might have, a longer stub on the end so the guys don't have to lean down and use it. We might sheetrock our panels flat and use a hoist to bring them up into our finger rack and then build them with the crane on the box. Smart, basic automation tools really to help the hands, because we still use hands to build the jobs and make sure that they can get through the shift without having to work, with too much lifting and stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I completely agree with that. So, Robin, we're coming up to near the end of the show here. One of the things in the bio and in my opening statements, you have dealt with, billion-dollar mega projects across multiple sectors, right? Oil, gas, civils, I think mixed use as well. Has that shaped your approach to what you're doing in this factory because of the efficiencies you see those big multi-billion-dollar companies have and what they've put in place?
Yeah, I think offshore, big civils really shaped me into how costly mistakes could be. Oil and gas shaped me up into lean production. When you're laying pipe on a vessel, you don't have 20 seconds downtime. Every station is optimized fully. Are we there yet in our factory? No, of course not. We're miles off, right? But, we used to say quality and safety equals production. And for me, that's what it's about. If you get the quality and you get the safety, the production runs. Yeah, you need DfMA sets that the guys can read. And they're not architects and engineers that work in the line. They're guys that need DfMA sets set out specifically so that they can understand them. The example, right. I'm an engineer, right? I can read a print, a drawing or a print, whatever you want to call it in America. When you're building a traditional scheme, the partition walls are laid out with measurements in between the walls. I didn't realize the guys on the line, they want a running line on the print. So all they have to do, and it makes sense, is they run one tape out on the floor, they chalk off where the partition walls are because they can't do the adding up because they're not an architect, they're not an engineer. So I think once you understand what they need on the floor and you get that into the packs that they're using and you get the quality and you get the safety, then the production just rolls. And that's what we're finding.
So do you think with your with MMY's advanced, DfMA packs, in permit ready plans, are we finally to a point where modular becomes plug and play for a developer or for these infill projects or, anybody else out there that's wanting to do this? Or is there still going to be a lot of resistance in the market that we need to overcome?
I read about this stuff online in LinkedIn, probably too much. And, as we all do, listen, we don't see any resistance in our local market. And we're talking the Midwest market. It's a stick-built market, right? Yeah, there's a couple of developers that are like, not interested. I stick-build, I've been stick-building all my life. I'm not going to do anything different, right? But genuinely, every nonprofit and we're engaging with most of them here are all open to having high-quality homes delivered at a certain cost. And actually, they don't mind if it's standardized. Sorry, but it's got to be this and you can't change it. And they get it because they can't deliver it traditionally. So the answer is, I think it's changing.
Right. Well, hey, listen, if that's standard.
That's standard.
That's what I mean. Like, all right. So, but this is the idea, right? Standardized doesn't mean cheap. It doesn't mean any of that. It means that you can put quality products in that you're buying in bulk, which makes it more affordable. So now you get an affordable product because you're able to buy it in such high bulk that it lowers the cost, and then you can deliver that to the consumer, which is amazing. And you can give them beautiful design.
And that is an American cabinet with American quartz on, with an American WC made by American hands with tax dollars for affordable housing. And that for me is the win, right?
Oh, 100%. Listen, I would live in that. That's nicer than what I'm living in now.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Right. It really is. As you say, it's lovely.
And it's lovely. And I just want to add one last thing to this webinar. And it's something that I feel people miss so much about affordable housing. Just because it's for an affordable housing for sale, Section 8, doesn't mean that it's cheap. Often, affordable housing is more expensive to build than market rate because of the ADA requirements, because of the extra space you need for turning circles for wheelchairs, because of all the crazy stuff in the code that you need to do. It actually can be more expensive than market rate. And a lot of people miss that in our industry.
Yeah, they do. And for those developers that are watching this out there, there's a lot to unpack in this conversation. But what I'm hearing, the best thing is we can control your cost. Yep. You can get an affordable product for affordable housing, and you can get quality and be backed by an entire factory team that's not just going to deliver it; they're going to finish it and hand the keys over. And my guess is that means you also service it.
It is, and it's non-combustible and climate resistant. So LEED Platinum, low energy use, it's all the wins, right?
Yeah, it definitely is all the wins. So why don't we do this, Robin? Why don't we go? There's a few people here that have commented, and then we're going to wrap up the show, and you can kind of leave us with your ending comments here in just a moment. But let's see who's in here. Hey, there's Steve Dubin. I like this guy. Good morning from California, wearing my Mod Squad hoodie from MMY US in support of Robin today on the show. Good to see you. We just had rooftop drinks with Steve Dubin. He said, Chad, damn Skippy. I guess he's talking about, here you go. Yeah. Chad Crosby. Hey there, Steve. One of our favorite factories represented here. Woohoo.
Up, Chad.
I love it. So Chad also said, MMY, Robin and Spencer are my favorite customer. Absolutely fearless regarding tackling their vision, the kind of people I want to go into the trenches with. Brian Lynch also says hello. Robin, good to see you here. Good to see you, Brian. Hey, Douglas Hayden, how you doing? It just keeps coming up. Painful approval process and way too much red tape. We're going to have a show on this, and I don't think the code council and the building inspectors are going to like what we have to say, or at least what I have to say. But I do love you all out there because everybody's trying to do the best they can. Time for national code standards, especially around prefab and materials. And there is some push on this. The ABC code is one we had on the show called the American Building Code, based on safety, design, engineering. So check that out if you want to look. I think it's AmericanBuildingCode.com. They're working on that. Aaron Curley, looks great. How are you building the pitch roofs for Skyview Modular, built on site, or are they foldable? There's a question for you.
So we're doing it as usual. We do it completely differently to everybody else because we're MMY. And why would you ever do anything that's easy? We're building them in triangles, and then we're inverting the triangles, the two triangles, so that we can finish them with, we call them tiles. What do you call them in America? You got
trusses?
No, the tiles that go on the roof. What do you call them?
Oh, shingles.
Why is that? Do you know what shingles is in the UK?
Yeah, it's probably a skin disease like it is here, or a virus.
So we put the shingles on and the triangles, and then we invert them so that we can get two roofs on one truck, and Chad takes them down the road for us.
Well, appreciate it, Chad. All right, Robin, anything else we didn't cover? Anything you want to leave us with? Any advice? Anything that would help other manufacturers out there be better?
You just got to keep showing up, right?
Hey, that's it. No different than you or I every week in the factory or on the show, right?
And the days you don't want to do it is the days you show up even more.
Yeah, 100%. That's like when you're working out and training for the Olympics. The days you don't want to get out of bed that separates the champions from the losers for the most part, right? Who's going to put in the work? Yeah. So, hey, everybody, listen, Robin, thank you for joining us today, and thank you to all of you out there watching. We'd love to have your support on this show. We'd love to put your name, your logo across there, give you shout-outs, and invite you to some of our private executive events that we have across the country and around the world. So we got some more European tours coming up as well. So with that said, if you're interested, reach out to us, DM us on LinkedIn or email, whatever the case may be. Robin, dude, it's been amazing. Can't wait to come out and visit you in good old Louisville. Maybe I'll show you baby misery, and misery and baby misery was the hills we had to run up at Fort Knox. They call it misery and baby. Yeah. So if you like to run, you're not going to like this one.
It's a painful one in Gibraltar, which was horrible.
Yeah, for sure. So, but listen, thank you for everything you're doing, man. Appreciate everything you bring to this industry, and I love the innovation that you guys are doing. Don't go anywhere. I'll come back to you after the end of the show. For the rest of you out there, hey, listen, it's Wednesday. You still got 2.5 days to keep building it better, and by God, if you want to work Saturdays and Sundays, you can do that as well. I prefer to spend it with my family, my kids, and enjoying a little bit of life and taking a break. But listen, I want to thank all of you out there for everything you do for Dave Cooper Live. We will see you Monday, 1 p.m. Don't miss it. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.